Well, hello again, and welcome to another episode of the Hyperion Adventures Podcast. I'm Tom. As always, I'm with my gorgeous, wonderful, intelligent, extremely hardworking Disney song bracket loving wife and co-host, Michelle.
Thank you, my love. Hi, everybody.
So good to have you with us. We are recording this episode actually on Saturday, February 19th, 2022.
Wow.
It's dropping on Sunday, February 20th, 2022. Not easy to say.
Yes.
So why are we recording on Saturday, Michelle? Why are we recording on Saturday?
Because I think you are doing some traveling on Sunday.
I am doing some traveling all this next week. So next week's episode will be a little different, just to let you know. I mean, we are doing a new episode. We will not be doing a best of episode. We will have a new episode for you, but next week's episode will be like the ones where we don't have a Disney story of the week, right, and we don't have a favorite thing from that week because, you know, I mean, we won't know what the Disney stories is or what our favorite things are for this week. So just know I'm somewhere in the highway, somewhere between San Diego and Florida, you know, on the next couple of weeks.
That's right. And I'm going to miss you.
I'll miss you too, but we'll have some fun today.
Yeah.
And we'll be back, and Scott will be with me, and things will be good.
Yes. Excited about that.
Yeah. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you for joining us today. In the future, you can find us most everywhere you get podcasts. However, the very best place to find us is on our own website, HyperionAdventuresPodcast.com. And while you're there,
we'd love it if you haven't already done so. Sign up for the newsletter, please.
Please sign up for the newsletter. We have something special tied in with today's episode that goes along with being a newsletter subscriber.
Right.
I will tell you, though, because I'm on the road this week, there will be no newsletter coming out this week. We will get you a new one next week once I get back.
Right.
So just know that going in. And listen for that special thing that's going on with for all you newsletter subscribers, because it's going to be very pertinent to what we're talking about today.
Right.
Another great way to be involved with us is on social media. We're on Twitter at Hyperion Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. If you are on Facebook, come on over and join us for some good positive Disney energy fun. I'm recording this early, so my mouth isn't working yet. Disney energy fun on our Hyperion Adventurers Facebook group.
Yeah, I'm just in love with the people who have already joined. They're wonderful. We love hearing about your stories. So please join, and you can have another avenue to share some stories that people are going to be very happy to celebrate with you.
For sure. So yeah, come on over. It's just a good time having just some good Disney fun and just, you know, personal life fun over there on that Hyperion Adventurers Facebook group for sure. Also, we are on YouTube. If you want to find us there, just do a quick search for Hyperion Adventures Podcast. Hit subscribe. You'll know whenever we have a new video. And if you ever want to contact us for any reason, including getting that bracket back to us that you're going to hear about later today, just hit us up at our Gmail account, HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com.
That's right. We love hearing from you. And as we say each week, well, first of all, we don't share your email address, whether through that or the newsletter, to anybody else. But if you ever have any questions or want to give some feedback on the show, we love hearing from you through our Gmail account.
Yeah, just whatever reason you want to contact us, that is a great way to do so. If you feel like supporting the show a little bit, there's a couple ways you can do that. One is through our Spreadshirt shop. You can find them at Hyperion-Adventures-Podcast.myspreadshop.com, or just do a search on Spreadshirt shop or spreadshirt.com, and we'll come up there. And you can support us there by, you know, purchasing some of our great gear with our various different logos. It could be a shirt, it could be a hat, it could be a sticker, it could be a mask, it could be a coffee cup. So many different items that are available for you there. Yeah, lots and lots of stuff with all of our different logos that we've created over time.
It really is I'm very amazed at how many things that they offer with the ability to put our logo on. So that's pretty cool. Yeah,
and they seem to be coming out with new stuff all the time, which is cool as well. Another great way is to be a Patreon member. You can join our Patreon group at patreon.com/Hyperion Adventures Podcast. We have tiers starting as low as $2. You get some swag along with that. We've got some great things coming up that we're involving you with, and you're going to get another bonus on top of everything else if you take part in our Disney Songs Madness bracket that we're going to have coming on today.
Yes.
And we'll tell you all about that in a little bit as well. So before we get into this week's show, we always like to look back a little bit at the week that was, because we always find that there's a great amount of positive energy out there. Yes, it may seem like we hit some bumps in the road during the week. Some weeks can be more of a struggle than others, but we always find that there's that little gem, at least one, that is kind of our favorite thing from this week. And we like to express those every single week. And when we do this, we always start with Michelle. One, because she's wonderful, awesome, all things great. She does the best research. She has the best list. Apparently she does the best brackets. And of course, she will have the best my favorite thing from this week. So Michelle, what is your favorite thing from this week?
Well, that as usual, there's a lot of things to choose from, but I guess I'll just focus on one, and that is that we got an email at work this week that being in the healthcare industry, they recognize it's been a tough time with a pandemic over the last couple of years. And so we're getting a little extra bonus this year.
That is nice. Yeah. That is nice for everybody that you've worked with who's worked so hard through this pandemic. And let's face it, it's been difficult out there, especially for the healthcare workers. So it's nice that they're all getting a bonus for sure.
Right.
So that was great news.
Yeah.
And we're getting one too. So that's nice too.
That's right.
To be a little more, selfish about the whole situation. That's nice.
Yes.
That is a great thing. Yeah.
Thank you. And what about you?
So my favorite thing from this week actually is we received a lot of emails this week that unfortunately I can't talk about yet, but I can't wait to be able to talk about them. And it's coming very, very soon. And we will let you know what that is all about. But the other thing that may be my favorite thing from this week was that trailer we saw for the Rescue Rangers, which was not at all what I was expecting. But that movie looks like it's going to be so fun. I don't know if you agree.
Oh my gosh, you're so right. I had forgotten about the trailer that came out. That was hilarious. So creative.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that they're, using all different forms of animation, it's kind of got that, well, it even has Roger Rabbit in it, but it has that Roger Rabbit film of live action crossed over with animation, and the way they seem to be just poking fun at all the different forms of animation throughout the years since, Rescue Rangers was originally on the air.
Right.
It just looks like a lot of fun. And I can't wait to just sit there and pick out all the Easter eggs that are going to be on all these scenes.
Right, exactly. I mean, it just, kind of the plot line of, how they were separated and, well, I don't want to give away the trailer. So, but it's hilarious.
Yeah. The
plot line that they're using to introduce the characters back.
I don't know how great the movie is going to be in reality, but it looks cool. It looks like it could be great. And if nothing else, like I said, just checking out all the different things that are going to be dropped in there that you're going to be watching the screen for, it will be a lot of fun. It looks like it could be a totally rewatchable movie just to pick those things out. So that's a lot of fun. Other thing, the fact that Lin-Manuel Miranda spoke with Bob Chapek about a Disney attraction based on Encanto today and insisting that there should be one was another great thing. And I hope that comes to fruition here sometime in the near future.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I tweeted it out. This has to happen.
It has to happen for sure. That would be fantastic. Some way, shape, or form, we need more Encanto in the parks.
Right. That would be just amazing, right? Talk about bringing positivity. Of course, the parks are positive, so it's not like they don't already have that, but just much more fun.
Right. For sure. So let's get into this week's show. We have lots of stuff for you this week, including if you've always wanted to live in the middle of Disney, well, we have some good news for you. Another popular series of nighttime events is returning to Disney parks. We'll tell you all about that. And there's a new, easier way to share your appreciation for the amazing Disney cast members. We'll tell you exactly how to do that. But enough about that. Get your brackets out. Let's go ahead and get to our main topic of the week. So this week's main topic, Michelle came up with this idea a few weeks ago, this crazy idea.
It's actually been something I've been brewing for many months.
But as we all know, Michelle has the best ideas, so this is going to be a lot of fun. We've been doing this. This is our 4th year of doing this podcast. We have not taken part. I mean, we've taken part, but we haven't put out our own March Madness bracket. So we thought, and Michelle especially thought, it'd be fun this year to do something March Madness wise, we love music.
Right.
We love Disney songs. So how about a little Disney songs madness?
Yeah. I know, right?
Right. So Michelle came up with this wonderful bracket. She's been working very hard on it for these last several weeks. And, interesting part of this is not only is it Disney animated songs, there's a lot of Disney live action songs in it as well.
Right. And that's as we go through the bracket and kind of explain it for people who want to participate. And hopefully you do, because there's going to be a major award at the end.
A major award.
A major award. But hopefully you'll find it fun as well. But yeah, trying to incorporate live action and animated film music into this bracket. And I know one of the thoughts was on one side just have all animated and on the other side have all live action. But looking at how we have some categories, thought it might be better to have a blend but separated. Does that make sense?
Right. It does. It's a little
separated.
different than what most people might expect. A lot of people might expect one side of the bracket to be all animated, one side of the bracket to be all live action like you were talking about. But this is interesting because this is going to all lay out, and that would ensure that at the end, an animated song would go against a live action song. Now there's no guarantee of that.
Right.
It could be an animated versus animated. It could be live action versus live action.
Right.
It makes it a little more interesting. So I like the way you did that.
Oh,
You
thank
laid it
you,
out
honey.
very interesting.
Thank you. It does make rating it, each of the brackets, or I don't know, what do you call each of those little squarey things? Very technical, right?
You're such a girl. Yes.
But I know that most, you'd have a whole category with 16, and ours is 8 and 8.
8 and 8 within its own little bracket.
Category.
Yes.
Yeah. So you let me know when you're ready for me to tell you about the brackets.
So tell us about the brackets. I'm ready. Tell us, first of all, tell us about the categories that you picked out.
Okay. So coming out with 4 main categories, and some of these kind of reflect some of our prior podcasts. So I was trying to, incorporate some of us in this. So the first. So if you're looking at the bracket on the far left side would be...
And by the way, hopefully you have your bracket in hand and are checking it, or on your tablet or your phone or whatever, and are checking this out currently.
Right.
Unless you're driving. Wait till you're done if you're driving.
And if you haven't had a chance, like any bracket, you have, left side, right side. So on the left side, the first category are classic songs. So there's 1 through 8 animated films that come from classic films, and similarly 1 through 8 of live action films that contain classic songs or songs that we think of classic Disney films.
Okay.
All right. And we can go into a little bit more detail in a second, but just to get an overview of that. So then on the lower left side of the bracket, we have what's just the category of fun songs. So it can be any kind of song that, just makes you happy or just, fun, joyous or whatever. And again, 8 songs from animated films and 8 songs from live action films that fit that category of fun songs. Then we move to the right side of the bracket. Okay. And the
East Coast
of
the bracket.
Coast, that's right. And so on that side at the top part, we have want songs. And any of you who may remember, we did an episode of want songs, meaning that the protagonist in song is describing, something that they're trying to achieve.
Sure.
So we have, again, 8 want songs from animated films, as well as 8 from live action. And in each, so we're categorized like all 8 animated are in one portion and all 8 live action are within the same.
Sure.
So it's not like a live action against an animation, right?
Not to begin with.
Not to begin with.
Yeah.
It's their own category.
Have to go a few rounds before one of those would happen. Yes.
Yes. And then the final quarter of the bracket are heart songs. So songs where somebody, mainly the protagonist, but not always, is singing from their heart something. It could be, it's kind of a little difficult because sometimes that is a want song, but these might be more things that emotions that they're feeling, things that they're going through or trying to figure out, but just more something from their heart, their being and soul
And this could all be perception, at the perception of the time you're hearing it or watching it on a film or whatever the case may be.
Right.
You may think a fun song is more of a heart song or is more of a classic song.
Sure.
But you kind of just tried to fit it in as best you could and get these songs in there. And there are a lot of great ones in there. So we're going to kind of go through some of these, the first round anyway, and explore it, see what the songs are that are going up against one another. And I do have a little bit of music here to play because there are some songs that you may have never heard before or you haven't heard in quite a while, maybe to refresh your memory. Because there's a couple movies in here that kind of maybe went by the wayside, or they're older movies that maybe you've never seen. And there's some like Disney Channel movie songs that maybe you've never watched that movie.
Right. Although I think all of these were like major films, but they may have been that
It may have been television movies, some of these.
I don't think any.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that like Descendants and High School Musical.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Were more Disney Channel, but they're still Disney live action films that count.
Right.
Even if it's Disney Plus, still a Disney live action film.
Right. And I have to say, getting the correct number of live action film songs was a little more challenging than the animation. I'll give you that.
Sure. I mean, especially because some of the live action films have a lot of the songs that are in the animated versions.
Right.
You know, they were redos of essentially some of these animated films. So you're not going to probably pick the live action one over the animated version since it came out first.
Right.
But we'll see as we go along here.
And there's a lot of live action films that aren't musicals, and so they don't really contain, whereas most of the animated movies, well, there's a lot of animated musical movies.
And you stayed away from things like Star Wars and Marvel.
I did. Just going with Disney, put the Pixar umbrella into that, thinking that it is all Disney animation.
Okay,
so
good enough. So we'll start in the classic songs category, and we'll start with the animated. Now I'm going to play a few songs. A lot of these songs you're going to hear, you're going to know. I'm not going to bother playing them. You've either heard them on the show or you know them because your kids listen to them ad nauseum, or yourself, so you'll know them. But we'll go through a few of these, and we'll start with the top seed in the animated classic songs versus the 8th seed, which is when the 1 seed is When You Wish Upon a Star. Makes sense that would be a 1 seed for sure. Versus number 8, which is Someday My Prince Will Come from Snow White.
Right.
So that is as classic as they come there. Both of those are as classic as they come. That's quite a matchup.
Right. And I know that some of these are going to produce some pain for some people to try to pick one over the other. And I know that some people may also have a different feeling of how these were rated in the bracket, but it was just
and you might have had a different feeling at a different time too.
True.
It's the way we always, whenever we rank things, we say 10 minutes later we would have changed our ranking.
That's true.
It could be the same here. So
that's true.
That's quite a matchup for sure. And then the winner of that matchup will be going against the winner of the 4 seed, which is Bella Notte from Lady and the Tramp, and Hakuna Matata from, of course, The Lion King, the 5 seed. That's a great, another great battle there.
Yeah,
I think I know who I would pick, but that's a tough one.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think some of these are going to be pain points for people. Not trying to do that, but it's experiencing what we do.
Yeah. All right. So moving down the bracket, the number 3 seed is Be Our Guest, great song, versus Bare Necessities from The Jungle Book, the 6th seed. Really, like, there are no easy matchups here. They're all tough, but I think that one's going to go a certain way. I won't tell it out there, but if you want to chime in with anything you were thinking about some of these, please do as I'm going through these.
Well, I mean, a couple things, first of all, I think what makes it a little bit more challenging than some other brackets is because you're doing like 1 up against just 8 and not like the 1 seed against the 16th seed, then even in this very first go around, you're going to have very close match.
Very true.
Songs.
It's a very good point. Very good point. Finally, to close out the animation side of this bracket, we have the 2 seed, which is A Dream is a Wish Your Heart Makes from Sleeping Beauty. And Cruella de Vil, and a villain song. We don't have a lot of villain songs actually in the bracket this time. So they're the 7th seed. So again, it's a kind of a clever song, Cruella de Vil versus more of the romantic song.
Right.
So.
But I do know that Villains are very popular with people, and it is such a classic Disney song, right? I mean, that just screams Disney classic.
I think I said "A Dream Is a Wish Your Heart Makes" from Sleeping Beauty. I meant to say Cinderella, of course.
Right,
yes.
yeah.
So
I think I knew.
my bad. Sorry about that.
I didn't even catch it.
Yeah. So quite a top end of the bracket in the classic songs and the animated versions of them. That's really good. Now we move over to the live actions. And I think if I'm going to be playing songs here, it's going to be more from the live action stuff because there's a lot of things. You probably know a lot of the animated stuff. Some of this live action stuff, you may have missed some of these, or there's a lot of classic films in here that you may have never seen. So
right. And
know.
Even in some of the other categories of live actions, I think there are some songs that the title you might not necessarily correlate with the song. So I think it's good to go refresh some of them.
Sure. I don't think I have a lot in this category here. I do have at least one that I want to play a song for here. But we'll start off in the top part of it, and it's the 1 seed versus the 8 seed. Stay Awake from Mary Poppins, of course. That is kind of the lullaby, the anti-lullaby that she sings the children, which is great. That's the 1 seed. Versus the 8 seed, the Raucous, the Ballad of Davy Crockett. Is this all 23 verses? Or just a couple that Disney uses?
Disney uses, and that did come out as a film. They actually combined 3 of the TV shows to make a movie, but it was classified as a movie.
Very good. So that is the 1 versus the 8, and the winner of that will go up against what I have a feeling is going to be a tough matchup in the second round, because at the 4 seed is Rainbow Connection, of course, from the Muppet movie.
Right.
Woo, everybody loves the Rainbow Connection.
Yes.
I don't blame you for putting it on there. That's going to be a tough matchup.
Right.
It might go deep within this competition.
Yes.
Going up against a song that is Aquarela do Brasil.
Right.
Which is an interesting song from, it's actually from Saludos Amigos, which is mostly an animated short.
Right.
But it is, I think what you pulled it off of is Walt and El Grupo, right? Yeah, which is a documentary about Walt and the group of animators and Imagineers and such that went down to the South America for a tour that kind of led to the Three Caballeros and Saludos Amigos and some other things that came out after that.
Right. And to me, it's a very cool and unique song, and, again, a classic that we think of the history of Disney films.
So let's hear a little piece of that, because you may not be as in the know about this song.
Right.
O Brasil samba que dá bamboleio que faz gingar. O Brasil do meu amor, terra de Nosso Senhor. Brasil, Brasil, pra mim, pra mim.
And if you've seen the short for this part of it from Saludos Amigos, it's really well animated. It's like they're painting a lot of the landscape and a lot of the stuff that's in Brazil. It's really beautiful. You should check it out if you haven't seen it before.
Yeah. And they do incorporate, scenes from Brazil where they actually went down there, to do, the research for this film and for future films. And it was, such a brilliant combination of work between, animators, filmmakers, etc.
Very good. Interesting pick. And that is a wonderful song that more people should know about. So that's really cool. So we move on now to the 3rd seed versus the 6th seed, and it's a battle of Sherman Brothers songs here. One from Mary Poppins, which you'll know very well. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, of course. Very popular, possibly could fly through this bracket. Going against a song from the movie Bedknobs and Broomsticks, which you may have never seen, or maybe you haven't seen it in a long time, but Angela Lansbury singing The Age of Not Believing.
You're a castaway where no one hears you, on a barren isle in a lonely sea. Where did all the happy endings go? Where can all the good times be? You must face the age of not believing, doubting everything you ever knew, until at last you start believing there's something wonderful in you.
So it's a lovely song,
Yes.
From this movie. And why don't you tell the listeners why you chose that one?
Sure. I mean, well, first of all, Angela Lansbury. If I
Right.
can get her into a bracket, I'm going to put her there because I have such high regards for her. This song, you know, like you said, it's a lovely song. It's Sherman Brothers, also another big classic, you know, grouping that I, you know, adore. But if you haven't seen the movie, it really is an interesting, I mean, if you just look at it at face value, it's like, it's kind of cute. But if you look at it from the perspective of, they really did bring in some amazing information about the history of what was going on in England during World War II, and how kids were separated from their families to be sent, you know, to other areas out of London to protect them, and how, you know, strangers had to become their caregivers. And that's what Angela Lansbury is in this movie. She's a caregiver of these kids, which she has no desire to take care of kids, but she's recognizing in the oldest child, who's a teenager, what he's going through. And like she said, the age of not believing. You're growing up, you're starting to see things aren't in the same way that you saw them with your kids' eyes, and how that can feel very uncomfortable, but that she's trying to say, but it's also, you see the wonder in yourself.
Right.
And so it's a powerful, to me, it's a powerful message in that song.
Really great song. And yeah, I mean, it should fit for those of us who are Disney fans as adults. It's a very fitting song for us because it's part of that, you know, you go through the process of at some point in your life, maybe kind of cutting out some of that whimsy and fantasy out of your life. And, you know, that's why I think we love Disney so much, because it brings the whimsy and fantasy back in our lives.
Right.
And this song speaks to that in so many ways.
Yeah.
So it's a great choice. I love it.
Well,
so
thank you.
Interesting to see how it does against Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Right.
Moving on to the 2 and 7 seed. Again, another Mary Poppins song, Jolly Holiday. It's a jolly holiday with Mary. That's the number 2 seed versus the number 7 seed, which is Whale of a Tale from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. It's a song that maybe some may not have heard in a while.
Right.
Maybe you've never seen 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, but Kirk Douglas, they're playing it with I believe there's a clapping seal there along with it as well. So.
Yeah, and the other sailors.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know, this one was a little hard to decide whether to put it in this category or fun songs, but I thought it, you know, the movie itself, 20,000 Leagues, you know, was one of Disney's, you know, early attempts at doing live action in that type of a setting, and how they did it on the studio lot is amazing still, to think that little area produced such an amazing film. But it's a fun song too.
For sure. For sure. So that's the finishing part of the classic songs bracket. A lot of great matchups there. Looking forward to seeing who advances into the second round in all of those categories and beyond, of course.
Right.
So moving on, we go to the fun songs. Just fun stuff here. Again, we'll start at the top of the bracket, which is animated films. And again, there'll be a lot of these that we won't need to play for you because you'll know them very well. I have a feeling the number 1 song is probably still in your head.
Yes.
So we don't need to play it here because it's already there. So at number 1, it is We Don't Talk About Bruno from Encanto, of course.
Yes.
So I think that that gradually climbed into a number 1 as it kept doing so well on the charts and in our heads.
Right,
So
exactly.
that goes against a classic fun song. It could be a heart song. It could be a classic song. You could put it into many of these categories.
Right.
A Whole New World from Aladdin at the 8th seed.
Right.
Quite a matchup. It's going to be interesting.
That one's going to be tough. Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see what what has been a song that's on fire right now on the charts versus a really classic song that everybody loves for so long.
Yeah, I know. And I knew that would be a tough one, and good luck, everybody.
Good luck with that. Although we will be filling out our own bracket as well. So as we move along here, we'll let you know what we've chosen as we get round for round. Moving on to the next one, the winner of that match will go up against the 4 and 5 seed. At 4, another Aladdin song, Friend Like Me. That's a tough one. That one's so good.
Yeah, I know. And with, such a beloved character too.
Right. Yeah. And Jeannie there. That's another big song. And again, this could also be a want song. I think Go the Distance from Hercules at the 5 seed. That's really tough.
It is. Yeah. And again, like I said, with some of the other songs, I know that it could go in either or, but there were some in like the want or the heart songs that were just so befitting there that I had to okay, this one can still be fun.
Love it. I love it. Quite a matchup there for sure. I
Yes.
think that is really going to be tough to choose from for sure.
Right.
So, moving on, apparently we're going to the islands for the
Yes.
3rd and 6th seed because at 3 we have Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride from Lilo and Stitch,
Right.
which is definitely a fun song for
Yes.
sure. With, of course, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson singing "You're Welcome" from Moana as the 6th seed. So
Right. And I know I kind of felt a little bad at times putting that way down to the 6th seed, but there's just so many great songs that it's hard to really, like I said, I think it would have been easier if I had a bracket that had 16. But
yeah, really good.
Yeah.
It's tough. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of songs that aren't going to be in these brackets because you split it up. You didn't just go all animated
yes.
or all live action. So really, really interesting what made it and what the matchups are as we're going through them. Moving on to the 2 and the 7th seed, it is Eye to Eye from a Goofy Movie. Which is
Right.
such a great song, one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah, I know, right?
And that's going to go up against another song from Hercules in Zero to Hero.
Right? And I didn't try to have 2 songs that had the word "to" in the middle, but it worked out that way.
It did work out that way.
Yeah.
A great song from the Muses, of course, from
Right.
Hercules. And any more music from the Muses is always wonderful.
Yeah.
So. Now, moving on to the live action songs. Again, there's going to be a few in here that you're going to know and a few that you may not. So
Right.
let's go through them. We'll start with a classic once again from Mary Poppins in Step in Time at the number 1 seed. That's a good
Mary
one.
Poppins, it was hard to leave out songs.
I don't blame you. That's
Yeah.
such a great movie and such a great songs in that movie for sure.
Yeah, and I think some of the things that I'm finding similar in all the songs that I ended up putting here, and maybe that's why they're fun, is just kind of the beats that they have, a lively beat to them.
Right, for sure.
So.
Speaking of a lively beat, the 8 seed is from the Descendants, and that is Chillin' Like a Villain.
Wanna be cool? Let me show you how. You to break the rules. I can show you how. And once you catch this feeling, yeah, once you catch this feeling, you'll be chillin', chillin'. Oh, chillin' like a villain. Chillin', 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 hey, chillin' like a villain.
Yeah, we've played that song on this show. At some
Yeah.
point. I think it probably is in our dance party songs
Right.
or whatever. And there's a
I
couple
wonder
other
if
things
Lorelai's dancing.
Yeah, I hope so. But yeah, that was it's a great song, very upbeat song. I doubt it beats Step in Time, but who knows?
Yeah,
Who knows?
I guess
we'll see.
it goes are you going with your heart or you're going with a fun contemporary beat? So.
All right. Well, whoever comes out of that bracket, they will be facing the 4 or 5th seed. And at the 4 seed, we have from the Muppets, and of course, the more recent Muppet movie, Life is a Happy Song.
How can you be less fun than that? That's the most fun.
That is a great song. Love that. Love that movie as well. And that is going up against something from High School Musical. We're all in this together, which is a really, really vibrant number at the end of the
Right.
original film.
Yeah.
So that's a great choice. And a tough battle there for sure,
Right.
depending on kind of what your preference is. Do you like more the Muppets and that kind of thing? Or are you a Disney Channel,
Right.
fan more? You're a High School Musical fan? Did you grow up around that? Yeah, that is going to be an interesting matchup.
Yeah,
for sure.
I can't wait to see what the popular vote will be on this.
For sure. So, moving on to the number 3 seed versus the 6th seed. And at the 3 seed, we have something from Newsies. So, an Alan Menken project here. Now, this was one I didn't really know, even though I've seen the movie. I've forgotten what it was. But this one is at the 3 seed is Once and For All. So that was the kind of the song where the Newsies were, we're going to take you down.
Right.
We're basically forming a union, and
Right.
we're gonna get you out and get what we deserve. Right.
Right. And again, this is one that could have gone to another category as well. And I think I kind of put it with fun because when you're watching the movie and just how they're acting and how this is building, it's really fun to see them coming together for some, common purpose. And I guess that's why I kind of classified it with fun.
I like it.
And the beat's nice.
I like it.
Yeah.
And speaking of another one with a nice beat, it's going up against another from the Descendants franchise at the 6th seed in Rotten to the Core, which again, I think we've played at some point. You can check it out at some other time, but great song. And that's going to be another interesting matchup for sure.
Right. Yeah.
Going to the 2 seed, and we're at a movie that is near and dear to my heart, and that is Enchanted and Happy Little Working Song.
Yeah. I mean, again, that's another Alan Menken song, and, it brings the concept kind of like what we saw with the traditional Snow White of cleaning, somebody's cleaning the house and everything, and just almost like laughing at itself. And it's just adorable.
One of the things I love about Enchanted is it's a Disney movie that kind of makes fun of Disney movies,
right, exactly.
but in a really sweet and heartfelt way.
Yeah.
So, I kind of love it in that regard. And that's going up against a song from a movie that I've never seen in my life. So I did not know this song at all. It's from the Princess Diaries 2, and it's called Your Crowning Glory.
That will be your crowning glory, darling, when they tell your story. They'll call your heart of gold your crowning glory, the most glorious part of you.
So it's funny that, the movies, both of them that they've come out, Princess Diaries movie,
Right.
I've never seen them because, with a name like Princess Diaries, it seems like that would be right up my alley.
Right. I was so thought that you had.
But
yeah.
I've never seen them, so I did not know that song. But tell the listeners why you chose that one overall.
Well, again, putting it in the classification of fun songs, that they're, kind of like a slumber party. And again, one of the things that attracted me to this song, is Julie Andrews' involvement with this and with the storyline and everything. And so, it just was heartwarming. I think that connection with Julie Andrews back into a Disney movie, and singing and kind of leading, kind of like starting something and letting the rest of the cast take off with it. I thought was also very fun.
Yeah, it sounded like a fun song when I listened to it as I was recording it for this. And so I like that. So maybe I do need to delve into the Princess Diaries here. Maybe missing out on something that I really
Maybe
enjoy. So I'll have to
so.
check it out for sure. So that's the end of the fun songs bracket.
Right.
So now we move over all the way to the East Coast, to the other side of the bracket, up to the top, to the want songs. And again, up at the top, we will start with animated films. And I don't think I'm playing any of these because these are all songs you will know very, very well. And this is a really, really tough, no, it's not a tough battle for me, but it might be a really, really tough battle for some people. The 1st seed versus the 8th seed. The number 1 seed from The Princess and the Frog is almost there.
Yeah. I mean, talk about a want song. That just spells it out there.
For sure. Going against, a song that's near and dear to my heart because hashtag Real Men Love Frozen. Let It Go at the 8th seed. How is it down to an 8th seed? You can tell I didn't make this bracket at an 8th seed for sure.
I think if you look at some of the other songs in this bracket, you can kind of see in terms of maybe some of the, the heart in them or whatever. And maybe you're right. Maybe it could have, like on any given day, been a little higher. But again, it's difficult putting, a 1 and 8 together in a bracket so early in the competition.
For sure. That's a tough one. I know where I would go with that one. You already probably know where I would go with that one as well. But I love the matchup there. So the winner of that one will move on to battle the 4 or 5th seed. And at 4, this is one of the epitomes of an I Want song, in my opinion. And that is Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid.
Right. Yeah. Can you imagine how difficult that was putting that at number 4?
4 seed. Wow.
Yeah, I
it's
know.
incredible. Of course, I agree with you. It's tough to get a number 1 seed out of all these because there's so many great Disney I Want songs for
yes.
sure. Moving on to the 5th seed, which is going to be going up against Part of Your World. And that is again from #RealMenLoveFrozen. Do you want to build a snowman?
Right. And some people may say, oh, that could have been in the fun songs. And yes, that could have been in the fun songs. But it really does bring the want. You see the want of both sisters. It's just more verbalized in one over the other in that song.
And if you add it could be a heart song as well.
Right,
if you add the edited out verse that we've played before in the Disney songs that make you cry,
right?
It's definitely a heart song for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
So another great choice and a great matchup. Moving down to the 3rd seed versus the 6th seed at number 3, classic I Want song from Mulan, Reflection.
Yeah, I mean that is just, I don't know. I always find a connection with that for some reason, but really showing again, trying to figure out who you are and what you want to be and wanting people to like that and accept that.
Yeah. Great choice. Really, again, another one that could have been a 1 seed for sure. Reflection is so good. So well done that I could definitely see it up there. And it is going against another song from #RealMenLoveFrozen in For the First Time in Forever at the 6th seed.
Yeah. Again, tough to put that down to 6, but
yeah, I think I know how that one's going to go, but you never really know. So, a really good matchup. So the winner of that matchup will go against 2 from Tangled. One within the first round. Tangled versus Tangled. Oh my goodness. I See the Light from Tangled. Ooh, tough.
Yeah.
Versus at the 7th seed, When Will My Life Begin?
Yeah.
Wow. What a matchup there.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And I guess, and also part of this may be you deciding, what fits the category more. If you decide that I See the Light is a better want song or When Will My Life Begin is a better want song, maybe you will just put them ahead just because of that. So not necessarily because of what song you like the most.
Yeah, that's true. That's
and also, by the way, as Michelle said, there will be a prize giving away to somebody from the bracket that closely matches what everybody ends up picking here.
Right.
Because you all are going to pick who advances in these. It's not just us randomly saying this song advances. It's not me picking Frozen all the way through.
I know. I wish it was.
Yeah.
Well, not you picking Frozen all the way through, but I wish it was our bracket. No, I'm just kidding.
So you may want to be strategic in your submittal of your bracket and think, yeah, I like this song more, but what do I think everybody else will pick?
Yeah.
It's all going to be on what you decide and how you want to do it. You can pick your favorite, or you can pick what you believe might go through, or they might coincide.
Right.
So either way. So that's the animated song side of the want bracket. Moving on to the live action films. And at the number 1 seed, this is a song I had forgotten about until I had listened to it again. And I was like, oh, I've heard this song many, many times. And it's from the live action Cinderella. And it's a song called Strong.
Trust in your heart and your soul shines forever and ever. Hold fast to kindness. Your light shines forever and ever. I believe in you and me. We are strong.
It's a really great song. If you haven't heard it or you don't remember it from the live action Cinderella, go search it out on Spotify, Pandora, wherever you get your music from. Find it. It's a really, really good song.
Yeah. It's just, and probably why I put it number 1. I just love it. To me, it also screams Disney. It's just a song that, I just listening to it, I feel That's a Disney song.
Yes, it's a powerful song, great song, love it very much. And I was questioning it first because I couldn't remember what the song was when I first just saw it in the bracket. Then when I listened to it, I'm like, oh yeah, now I see why it's the number 1 seed here.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and that's one of those that I felt like the title was not something that people would connect with right away.
for sure. So that is going up against the 8th seed, which is again from the Descendants franchise, and that is What's My Name. I think we've played that again at some point, but definitely check it out and see what you think of it. It's the Descendants music, really great, and it'll get you moving. It's good stuff there for sure. So moving on from the 4th and the 5th seed, we start with the 4th seed, which is from Enchanted again, and one of my favorite songs, and That's How You Know.
Right.
Such a great song. That scene in Central Park
Yes.
is so brilliant. I love it so much. That's so great.
Yeah, and again, that could have been a fun song, but it was also definitely getting some insight into the character that you were wondering about, I guess I could say, right?
Yeah, right.
So.
And that is going up against a song that, again, I couldn't remember, even though we'd seen this movie. We saw it on a cruise ship, as a matter of fact, but I couldn't recall it because maybe it was a movie that kind of went by the wayside a little bit. It's from Alice Through the Looking Glass. So you may not have seen that movie, or if you saw it, it kind of went, and you saw it and it went by. But this song is Just Like Fire, and it's sung by Pink.
Right.
Just like fire, burning up the world, rocking like the world. But just one day, watch this madness, gonna push a ray. No one can be just like me anymore. Just like magic, I'll be flying free. I'ma disappear when they come for me. I kick that ceiling, what you gonna say? No one can be just like me anymore. Just like fire, fire, just like fire.
So Just Like Fire, again, from Alice Through the Looking Glass. Again, listen to that song, and it's Pink, so it's a really solid song. Actually, to listen to it, because there was one word in there, I'm like, it's Disney. It's not a dirty word, is it? But I look up the lyrics. I'm like, oh, no, I see what she's saying. I just couldn't understand it. So, great song. And that makes it for an interesting battle because I'd not heard that song, but that song is Just Like Fire.
Right. And, it has some qualities of it, both in the lyrics and a little bit of the music, if you're really creative minded, I guess, of reflection. You know, it's just kind of that perspective of, looking at yourself.
For sure. So that's another interesting matchup. I think I know how it's going to go, but you listen to that song and maybe not.
Right?
We'll see. So moving on to the 3rd seed versus the 6th seed. At the 3rd seed, we have Man or Muppet from, again, the Muppets movie that was recent with Jason Segel and everything in it. Amy Adams and so forth.
Right.
I think that song was, I don't know if it won the Oscar, but it was definitely up. It was nominated for an Oscar.
It might have won. I'm trying to remember too.
Really, really great song. One of my favorites. I love it every time it comes on, whatever I'm listening to, and just when they puts up random songs and that one pops on. 'Cause it's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it's funny because, again, if you just look at it superficially, it's a fun song. But if you really look at the message and things, you could see where it is the want song coming through.
And it's going up against a really strong song that I have been more recently made aware of how good it is, because we didn't watch Hannah Montana.
Right.
We didn't. So at the 6th seed, this song, it has a really, really important message. We're not really big Miley Cyrus fans by a stretch of the imagination. And again, we didn't watch Hannah Montana, but this song is so good, and that is The Climb.
There's always gonna be another mountain. I'm always gonna wanna make it move. Always gonna be an uphill battle. And sometimes I'm gonna have to lose. Ain't about how fast I get there. Ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's the
Such a great song with such a great message that, life is a battle. You're going to have to, you're not going to get out there. It's not going to be easy all the time, but it's also the journey along the way.
Right. Yeah.
That's the climb. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I was going to say. It's the journey that's important. It's not just what you achieve, but but kind of the route that you took to get there, and that anything could be perceived as a success. You don't have to always make something so big that it's not even achievable, but that when you put your heart into something and you really want it, then it's worth the struggle that you go through.
For sure. So I love that song. And I also love about it is that, the song is about the climb, and the song also climbs.
Right.
It goes through key changes throughout it as it climbs and builds.
Yes.
Just like you're going through the climb. It's a brilliant song. And I really like it. It's one of my newer favorite songs from a series that I've never seen more than 5 minutes of. Maybe.
Yeah. But it had to be in this bracket because it just really, fit what we were trying to achieve here with, it's a great Walt song.
So really, really good choice there. And then, people may, if you grew up with Hannah Montana, you may pick that over Man or Muppet. So that's an interesting battle there.
Yeah.
Finally, the winner of that will go up against the winner of the 2 seed versus the 7 seed. And at the 2 seed, again from Newsies, we have Santa Fe, which is a great Want song. We've played it before at some point. I may have been to our I Want songs, but we have played it before. Really good. And that's going against another classic movie, and it's one that I can't say probably, but you may have never seen in your life, and that's The Happiest Millionaire.
Right. But it is on Disney Plus.
It is on Disney Plus, so you can check it out. And the song is called Are We Dancing?
Are we dancing? Say we really are. Then I'll know that I reached into the sky. I reached into the sky and touched a star.
So Leslie Ann Warren and
Right.
John Davidson there,
Yes.
if you know those names, singing that song in The Happiest Millionaire.
Right. And actually, it's a nice cut that you have of that song. But if for those of you listening to the podcast, I urge you to go listen to that whole song. It is just, again,
It's a charming
classic,
little song.
charming Disney song. But Leslie Warren, original Cinderella, by the way, with Rodgers and Hammerstein. But yeah, it's just kind of I had to kind of put it in here.
I like it. Yeah. Something from The Happiest Millionaire is fun to get in.
Yeah,
so that's cool.
And we kind of want to encourage people to explore beyond.
Sure.
Even for us, we're talking about the Princess Diaries and Hannah Montana and everything. That there's some qualities out there that we might just take for granted, and they're available to us. So maybe explore some.
Listening to these various streaming services or satellite radio or whatever, we've discovered a lot of songs that we've loved that we've never seen the series or the movie or whatever, but we love the song. It's intrigued us to, should we start watching that series or that movie or whatever? And doing something like this too can maybe spur you on as well to maybe have reason to check some of these out. So
Good point, maybe.
So that finishes out the Want songs bracket, where we wrap it up with the Heart songs. We wrap it up here in our hearts with the Heart songs bracket.
Yes.
And again, we start with animated films. And if you're talking about a Heart song, well, you got to go with the number 1 seed, and Baby Mine is definitely a Heart song for sure, from Dumbo, of course.
Right. From the original animated, obviously, because it's in the animated things. But that's one that, gosh, when you hear it, just brings tears to your eyes.
Yeah, I think when we first did the Disney songs that made us cry, we just we're just going to take this one out because this is going to be way up there on ours.
Number 1 for both of us. Yeah.
If you've watched that movie and that didn't make you cry seeing that scene, I don't know who you are, what's going on with you, but there's issues there. So, and that is going up against the 8th seed from Tarzan and You'll Be in My Heart. There's a Heart song. It's got Heart right in the title.
Yes. Made it easy to know where to put it.
Right. For sure. Yeah. So that moves on. The winner of that will face off against the 4 or the 5th seed. And at the 4th seed, it's When She Loved Me, of course, from Toy Story 2. One that breaks me up all the time. So that is definitely a Heart song. And then that will go up against a song from the Tigger movie. And that is Your Heart Will Lead You Home.
Lost and on your own and far from home. You're never alone, you know. Just think of your friends, the ones who care. They all will be waiting there with love to share. And your heart will lead you where you belong. I know your heart will lead you home.
Just a beautiful Kenny Loggins
Right.
song from the Tigger movie, which is a great movie, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of just a silly movie in a lot of respects, but again, this is one of those, if you look, you'll see the message is pretty powerful. You know, how you feel like you maybe you need a connection with your family, but family can have so many aspects to meaning, and your friends are your family as well, and how that they're there to bring you through the hard times and to celebrate the good times with you, and don't take them for granted because they are there for you.
Yeah, I mean, the family can come from a lot of different areas in your life. The family that you're born into, and the family that you choose.
Right.
You know, and
Right.
or that you're pushed into a situation for. You know, but
True.
it's a really sweet movie, as most of the Winnie the Pooh
Right.
movies are, the 100 Acre Woods movies are. So, and a great song, a very sweet song to go
Yeah,
along with
yeah.
it. So that'll be an interesting matchup for sure. Moving on to the 3rd seed versus the 6th seed. And at the 3rd seed, we have the recent Oscar-nominated song from Encanto, and that is Dos Oreguitas, which
Yes.
I love that song. I think
know.
it's such a beautiful song.
Right. Again, it's incredible that made it to number 3, but there are so many great heart songs in Disney animation.
Yes, for sure. So many. I mean, there's so much heart in Disney animation. So much. Speaking of that, it's going up against a real tearjerker of a song from The
Right.
Fox and the Hound, which is Goodbye May Seem Forever.
I recall those rainy days. The fire's glow that kept us warm. And now I find we're both alone. Goodbye may seem forever. Farewell is like the end. But in my heart's the memory. And there you'll always be.
So if you don't know that song, that is it is a really, really heart-wrenching moment within The Fox and the Hound, where the mother who's kind of adopted Todd the fox
Right.
realizes he can't be with her anymore,
Right.
and is leaving him off, and it's a tough one.
Yeah. So the mother that's taking care of the fox is actually, she's a widow, and feeling alone just happenstance brought the two of them together. And what, as any parent knows that they sometimes go through, is the sacrifice that you have to make for the betterment of your child. And, kind of what she was going through, knowing that, she had to say goodbye in order for the fox to be safe and able to survive. And it was heart-wrenching to see her have to accept that. And especially, and I the spoiler, but I think if you see the movie, you'll know what I mean, and it'll still have the same impact, is that when she's, this song is playing on, the fox is sitting next to her in the car, and the fox is just thinking, we're going out for a fun ride. And she's already knowing what this journey is doing, is going to bring them to a point where they have to separate.
I can't even talk about
I
that
know,
scene.
right?
I can't.
It's
Just thinking about it is
phenomenal.
wrecking me right now.
I know.
If,
I know.
If you saw it and it didn't wreck you, again, same
Yeah.
thing. Who are you? What
Yeah.
are you doing with your life? Because that scene is brutal.
right.
Touching but brutal.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
just
Showing the love.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Great song though, and a big moment within the film for
Yep.
sure, and an underrated film in the Fox and
Oh,
the Hound.
definitely. Yeah.
So moving on, the winner of that will face off against either the 2 or the 7th seed. At the 2 seed, it's the Remember Me, the Miguel version, the one with, I assume that's the one with Coco at the end. that he
Right,
sings
right,
at the
where
end, which
he's
is
just-
another one.
yes.
That's just like wrecks you.
Exactly. And that's why I did want to distinguish the Miguel version. There's a lot of versions in that film. But yeah, like you said, that's the one that wrecks you, that where you're really feeling what's going on here and how everything is coming together. And yeah.
And it's going against a song that is maybe the only real dispute I have with your ranking. Is out there from the Hunchback of Notre
I
Dame
know.
is all the way down to the 7th seed because that song to me is so strong. I mean, it's one of my favorite songs of all time. To be a 7th seed really hurts me.
I know,
but
I know.
It's all good. I understand.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those. There may have been one or two others, like Your Heart Will Lead You Home, maybe back and forth, that I had it at a higher ranking at one point. But then, like you said, on the day that I finally posted this to the bracket, I was like, all right, no, it's 7.
Right. Well,
Sorry.
There you go. Hey, it is what it is. It's
Yeah.
fine. I know what I will pick when I get to go through there. Although it's tough. Actually, that's really tough because I
Yeah.
love them. Remember Me too. That's
Right.
a really tough matchup there. I think I know where I'm going to go, but who knows how I'm feeling that day when I
Right,
actually
right,
start filling out
exactly.
this bracket. So finally, we wrap it up with the live action films in the Heart Songs category. And at the 1 seed, it's Evermore from the live action
Mm-hmm.
Beauty and the Beast, which is another impactful song with
Yep.
the Beast when Belle rides away and the Beast goes up to his tower singing his heart out
Right.
over his mistakes and the love he has for this woman in Belle.
Yes. And again, another one of those movies where, the character is realizing in order to make the person that you love be able to rise to a better spot, or be happy, or whatever they think is happy, is you have to sacrifice and you have to say goodbye, kind of thing, and just reflect on what's going on.
Really strong song. I really like that song. It's one of my favorites from
Mm-hmm.
the live action Beauty and the Beast. I think it was really well done.
Right. Another
And
Alan Menken song.
Yes, a really poignant song. So I love that very much. And that is going against another song from Newsies, and that is Seize the Day.
Now is the time to seize the day. They're gonna see there's hell to pay. Nothing can break us, no one can make us quit before we're done. One for all and all for one for all and all for one for all and
Another great song from
Yeah.
Newsies, which is, it's really an underrated movie for sure.
Right. Yeah. I mean, again, there's so many great songs that I felt like I had to leave out from that film. And if you haven't seen it, it's on Disney Plus. I guess I put Menken against Menken in this.
Oh,
this
yeah.
bracket category
Very true.
here. Yeah.
Very true. Well, easy to do, just like it's Sherman versus the Shermans.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
really
There's
easy
just so
to
many
do.
of their songs are out there. Yeah.
And I think they have both versions on Disney Plus. You can watch either the
Right.
original straight to the theater
Right.
version, or they have a stage to screen version
Right.
of it as well, which is really, really good because it did much better on Broadway
Right.
than even it did in the theaters. So you can pick which one you prefer to watch, but
Right.
both great.
And it was funny. I've resisted watching that for a long time. I think it was just last year that we sat down and finally said, "All right,
Yeah,
let's
within the
watch
last
it."
couple, for sure. So that was great. So that's the matchup between the 1 and the 8 seed, and they will play the winner of the 4 and the 5 seed. Who will be at 4 seed is How Does a Moment Last Forever? Of course, again from the live action Beauty and the Beast.
Right. Yeah, that one. As much as I love both of them, that one I think wrecks me the most.
I get it.
I don't know. It's tough.
Tough
They're
one.
both wonderful.
Tough
Yeah.
one. Going against the 5th seed out of the live action Aladdin and Speechless, which is it's a powerful song.
Right,
for sure.
right. And again, this was one that was hard to say, really? That's going to be number 5? But again, there's so many fabulous songs.
Right, for sure. So that's going to be another tough one, I think. I think that's a pretty good matchup there. I think I know how I would go, but...
Yeah, I know.
To the other side of the bracket there, we'll go to number 3 versus the number 6 seed. And the 3 seed is a song that really, this movie really went by the wayside because it wasn't a great movie. The Nutcracker in the Four Realms was not a great movie. But the shining star from that movie is this song that is the 3 seed, Fall on Me.
I close my eyes and I'm seeing you everywhere. I step outside, it's like I'm breathing you in the air. I can feel you're there.
So you'll be hard pressed to find a more gorgeous, beautiful, lush song
Right.
in Disney history, but definitely on this bracket than Fall on Me from the Nutcracker in the Four Realms.
I totally agree with you. And watching, like the video of the song being sung, is just phenomenal. And I feel like, yes, it's a song for this movie and, it shows that love, but I don't know, maybe they're just really good actors, but to me, it sounds like a father singing a song to his son.
Right, which is exactly what it is. It's Andrea Bocelli. You may have recognized his voice, and that is also his son singing with him, Matteo Bocelli. It's a gorgeous, definitely go look at that song. Go listen to it. You don't need to see the movie.
Right.
We saw it for you. You don't need to see the movie. But it is a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous song for sure.
Yeah. And again, it's so powerful and powerful to watch.
Right.
Yeah.
But it does draw a tough matchup because one thing I don't know if ever, that's why I wanted to be sure and play it, because I don't know if enough people know of that song.
Right.
But it's going up against a really, really good song from Mary Poppins Returns in Where the Lost Things Go, which is definitely a heart song for sure.
Yeah. I mean, as I feel like I'm just a broken record here, but saying, that made it to number 6. But again, there's so many great songs to include here. But yeah, that's another, that's a tough one. And that's still for me right now, a tough one to actually listen to.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I totally get why.
Yeah.
And that's a tough matchup for me because I think Fall on Me is so good, but I love Where the Lost Things Go. I think it's such a great song. So I don't know where I'll go on that, but it'll be interesting to find out how I feel on the day I fill out my bracket.
And again, I wasn't trying necessarily to make it painful to people to select between two, but that's, I think, again, having that challenge of picking one over the other early on, doing it this way with the 8 and 8 is probably what we're noticing most.
So another great bracket there. And finally, we are going to wrap it up with the 2 seed versus the 7th seed. And the 2 seed is one of my favorites, and especially because of the story behind it. It's Feed the Birds from Mary Poppins, Sherman Brothers, Walt's favorite song. The Sherman Brothers would play it. He'd request from the Sherman Brothers to play it for him all the time. And even after he passed away, they went up there and played it in his office for him.
Yeah, I think the story behind it, both in the film, I mean, Walt has admitted in interviews that it was certainly a song that, he connected with. The Sherman Brothers have shared their story that when they would play it, they said a lot of times it was like on a Friday at the end of the day, end of the work day, that Walt would call them up into his studio and ask them to play it. And they said, so many times they would observe him just looking out the window and many times getting a tear in his eye, and we've talked about this in the past. Walt had struggles. He had issues with life issues, feeling the weight of what he was trying to do, both in the, the filming industry as well as the theme park industry, some failures that he's had in his life. And so, I mean, there's a lot there to see that it came through. And then in the movie, how he felt like he really had to pay honor to the actress that they hired to be the bird lady, and how they really made sure. I mean, she was a former movie star, but had not been in the theater for many years, but that how he had would get limousines to pick her up and bring her to her dressing room, and really treated her as royalty, just showing that respect for her. And so I think all in all, that song just has so much in the song and surrounding the song. And obviously in the movie, it shows the message that Mary Poppins is trying to teach the kids and as well. So
one of my favorites. Great song, definitely worthy of the number 2. It could be even worthy of the number 1 seed here. So definitely a tough competitor, and it is going up against a song that you may not know. Actually, I think you might know it when you hear it, but you may not have known it right off the bat because it went to the live action. It's from the live action Pete's Dragon. Again, not a bad movie. It's a cute little movie, but it may have gone by the wayside for you a little bit. But this song, I think you've heard somewhere in the past.
Love is deep as the road is long. It moves my feet to carry on. Beats my heart when you are gone. Love is deep as the road is long. Nobody knows how the story ends. Live the day, do what you can. This is only where it began. Nobody knows how the story ends. Nobody knows how the story ends.
So that song may seem a little familiar to you now. It's called Nobody Knows. It's done by the Lumineers. And it's a gorgeous song. It's a beautiful song for sure.
Right. And love the message
very
of
folksy.
it as well.
Yeah. So that's a great choice.
Thank you.
I think Feed the Birds will take it out,
Probably,
but it is a really strong song and worthy of being on this list for from the live action category.
And nobody knows, but somebody might be connected with this song that they really, that movie, may have been observed by somebody at a particular time. I think that's what we've shared, with some of our past episodes where we talk about want songs or heart songs or songs that make us cry. It's, sometimes it's just what's going on in your life when you see this, one of these films for the first time. I mean, to me, I think that was my experience with the Tigger movie. It was just during a particular rough time in my life that, I saw that film and it just forever means so much to me, whereas somebody else might see that and think it's just kind of a silly movie.
Sure. I get it. Definitely films, songs, food. It strikes you at various parts of your life when you eat them, and people may be like, why do you eat that? Or why do you like that song? Or whatever. They strike a chord with you, and that's why they end up being something that you always remember. And I think a lot of these songs are those for a lot of people. So great bracket, honey. Good job. Michelle always makes the best brackets. Again, and the winners of this, of each matchup, the eventual champion will be chosen by you. So we'll need you to turn in those brackets. We're going to have a deadline of Friday. I think I had it March 4th. I think that's correct.
I think that's correct.
At 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. So that way we will know who, by the time we get on the air, by the time we do the show on that weekend, we will know who advanced to the second round. And we'll go through as we get through shows and go through the second round, the third round, onto the championship and kind of go through it. But again, Michelle has some great prizes for some people out there.
It's going to be amazing prizes. And I have some special things that you don't know about that I'm going to just throw out here.
Secret. She's got a secret.
So if you are a Patreon of ours, or if you join as a Patreon during this March Madness fun, is you actually will get 3. You can submit 3 brackets.
Whoa.
So you'll have better chances of winning the prize package, and you also have more opportunity to move what you want to see through to help you out there. So because our Patreons mean a lot to us, we want to give that to you. And if you're a subscriber of our newsletter, you can submit 2 brackets.
Ooh, wow. So there you go. So if you can do a bracket of what you really believe is your favorites out of these. And you could do another bracket that is, this is how I think the people will vote. The other Hyperion adventurers will vote.
Right,
or you can do it however you want.
Yeah. So anyways, just wanted to, thank those of you who are, our great Hyperion adventurers, that you're Patreons or subscriber to the newsletters. You get a little edge here.
Right. So obviously we've already put it out there on social media. You got it through the newsletter first, putting it through the Patreon account. If you haven't received yours yet, please hit us up, direct message us through social media. Hit us up at our Gmail account, HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com, and we will send it to you. And please get them back to us again to that Gmail account by the date we were talking about, March 4th, 11:59 p.m. Eastern time.
Right.
So it's going to be a lot of Disney songs madness throughout March here on the Hyperion Adventures podcast, and we're going to have a lot of fun with that.
Right, and we can't wait to see what you all are moving through here in our first ever bracket, a March Madness bracket, and hopefully this will be a continuation, because it was fun. It was fun actually putting this together, and I've already thought of 2 or 3 other brackets for future years.
Ooh, so this will not be the last Hyperion Adventures podcast madness bracket. So look forward to seeing what you come up with, what you pick, and we will be going through those as we progress through March.
Yes.
Great job, Michelle. Very interesting, fun, exciting bracket. It's going to be madness for sure. Yes. We're excited to take part in that. And yes, get your brackets filled out and get them back to us at HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, looking forward to getting that, tabulating it, and thank you, and thanks for your help with the bracket as well.
No, yeah, I did very little. You did almost all of it, and it looks great, and I'm excited to go through this over the next several weeks. So.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, but we talked about it for a while, so let's go ahead and get right to the Disney stories of the week. And I'm going to start with, if you've always wanted to live in the middle of Disney, well, we have some really good news for you, especially if you live here in California or wanted to live in California. This from the Disney Parks blog. They say, as more fans look for new ways to make Disney a bigger part of their lives, this week the Walt Disney Company announced plans to introduce Story Living by Disney, a vibrant new neighborhood or neighborhoods that are infused with their special brand of magic. Each community will feature distinctively designed spaces, unique amenities, and Disney's brand of world-renowned service. So it looks that the concept artwork that they dropped looked really, really cool. If you haven't seen it yet, go find it. It's out there. It's on the Disney Parks blog, but it's on a lot of newspapers and everything. It can be found pretty easily.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it looks pretty cool and pretty interesting. And it's not the first time Disney has done something like this. So, I think they have a track record of, of having homes in communities. So this is actually kind of exciting.
And real estate in California right now is extremely at a premium. We were talking with our financial analyst not that long ago, and he was stressing that as well, that, look, having a piece of this is really, really important right now because just not a lot of people have them. As many people live in this state, there's not a lot of real estate to go around, not enough of it anyway. So having one is premium. So Disney buying into this, real estate is always a good investment.
Yes.
So it's not a bad thing for the Walt Disney Company for sure. Moving on with the story, they say at each location, including some neighborhoods for residents ages 55 plus, Disney cast members trained in the company's legendary guest service will operate the community association. Through a club membership, Disney will also provide access to curated experiences such as wellness programming, entertainment ranging from live performances to cooking classes, philanthropic endeavors, seminars, and much more. So it's great that it's going to be run by cast members, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So you're going to have even more of that Disney feel because we know the cast members bring that magic for sure. So that's cool.
Yeah, and Disney knows how to provide all those kind of activities in a very fun way. And I would love it.
Yeah, totally. It's interesting for sure. And it's not that far from us here. So, so speaking of that, where will the first one be? We've talked about that it's in California, and well, that's true. It will be none other than the place that has known the footsteps of Walt Disney himself. The community would be called Cotino, a story living by Disney community, and will be built in the heart of the Coachella Valley in Rancho Mirage, California, which is just kind of right adjacent to Palm Springs, the Palm Desert, Palm Springs area, which we've visited a few times. And it's a lovely area. Yes, it's kind of a desert space.
Right.
But they do have, it's a vibrant community. There's a lot of stuff to do there. It's going to be, it could be great as a retirement space, or if you can afford that second home. I know California is not easy to afford a second home, but it's going to be that kind of space if you can afford it.
Yeah. No, it really looks intriguing. And like you said, the area is a pretty cool area. It's, of course they have the annual Coachella festival there as well in that area. But Palm Springs has always been quite a, for the rich and famous, back in the day, with all the big stars going there and having property there. So it really does make sense to have something being developed in that area.
Yeah, the stars go out there regularly, even to this day. I mean, I know it was kind of more of the 50s, 60s, 70s kind of spot for the stars to go to, but they still have a lot of homes out there that are owned by celebrities. It's kind of a nice getaway from LA. It's not that far away to get out there. And they even have a Walk of Fame, like of the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Well, they have their own Palm Springs kind of Walk of Fame as well, which is kind of cool when you're kind of strolling down there. Lots of great restaurants and little tiny resorts and some bigger resorts too, golf courses, tennis, all sorts of great stuff. We're talking about Palm Springs. Rancho Mirage is right next to it, but I'm sure it'll kind of incorporate much of the same thing that's going on there. So that's pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Pretty exciting.
Yeah. They say the community will have a variety of homes, including estates, single family homes, and condominiums. So depending on what size you're looking for, there may be a space there for you. Again, if you can afford it, they don't have the prices yet. I'm sure it won't be cheap.
Right. It'll be interesting to see what the price ranges will be, though.
Right. In California, nothing's cheap. So it probably won't be cheap, and especially when you add on the Disney thing. But if you can afford it, if you can work it out, pretty cool.
Yeah, it definitely would be a great place to invest.
For sure.
Have property and invest in that way.
Interesting.
I know, right?
Interesting.
Just saying.
Just saying. Moving on, another popular series of nighttime events is returning to Disney parks. We are particularly excited about this because this comes from the Disney Vacation Club website. They say Disney Vacation Club Moonlight Magic events, a favorite membership Magic Extras benefit, are back in 2022. We've been waiting for this, and it is so exciting.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I am thrilled that this is coming back and that we'll have a chance at doing this again. It's, like you said, it's a fan favorite. We love it. It's, it's so funny how something with, kind of not the most elaborate concept to it. It's just fun and unique and enjoyable.
Well, it's just one of those perks when you signed up for Disney Vacation Club that you has coming along with it. It's one of those benefits that they have these throughout the year at the various parks, and it's complimentary along with your membership. So you're paying for it, but you're paying for your membership. So it's just kind of this cool events that pop up throughout the year that you can attend, and just, it makes them being a DVC member that much better.
Right. And you get to figure out how many Mickey bars you can eat in one night.
Yes. It's always a good test. How many can I fit in this year? I've gained a few since the pandemic, so I got more space in there for more Mickey bars.
There you go.
Speaking of this, they say that with these events, if you have never gone on one, you experience a night full of excitement at these complimentary events, offering exclusive after-hours access. Enjoy select new and classic attractions with shorter than usual wait times, character sightings, reimagined entertainment, and delectable delights, Mickey bars, all during the world's most magical celebration. Now, the first ones will be taking place next month at Epcot. They will be March 17th and the 31st, and all eligible members with a Disney Resort hotel reservation on the event dates that we just spoke of should be on the lookout for an email arriving on February 22nd of this year. This email will contain a link where they can register online for these Epcot events, for these ones. Then event registration will open to all eligible members on March 8th, 2022 for member plus 4 guests. So if you're a member, you can bring up to 4 guests with you, 5 people. If you're a couple members, I don't know if you can bring 4 plus 2. I don't know. I would bet on 4, but maybe 5. And so they will be sending that out to you if you want to register. Now, the other parks will be hosting events later in the year as well. Disney's Hollywood Studios will be on May 24th, June 16th, and July 14th. Disney's Animal Kingdom will be on July 26th, August 31st, and September 28th. No Magic Kingdom dates right now. I expect that's because they have their parties there that are more the ticketed events they pay for. But all these other great parks that you can go for. Registration dates for the other parks has not been announced yet, but keep an eye out for them if you're planning a vacation or thinking about doing this in the near future.
Right. Yeah. Again, exciting.
Yeah, really cool. Really
it's
cool.
always great when things coming back.
Yeah,
more
for
things
sure.
coming back.
For sure. And that's a big perk that's coming back. That's exciting stuff. So finally, there's a new, easier way to share your appreciation for the amazing Disney cast members. This from the Disney Parks blog. They say, as of Wednesday of this last week, it's now easier than ever to recognize the people who make magic for you during your visit, as you can now compliment individual cast members by their first name and hometown as a part of new enhancements to the mobile cast compliment.
That's great to make it easier, because it's something we always take time to do, especially when somebody's done something really helpful or magical for you, and I know it's great for the cast member to get that. So it's cool that Disney's making it easier. Right.
They already had it on the mobile app, but previous to this, it was where you kind of just you went on there and you kind of complimented the group. You didn't pick an individual out. You kind of said, it was when I was at Sci-Fi, theater. I had a great time. Cast compliment to everybody there, but now you can individually pick them out. So they say, now you can send your recognition to individual cast members. It's simple too. After guests choose a positive sentiment from a drop-down menu, they can enter the cast member's first name, hometown, and the date of interaction. So make sure you spell the cast member's first name and hometown correctly, so the cast member will be alerted along with their leader, and they can receive their personalized recognition. And if you didn't catch a name, that's okay. You can still share a compliment about the location or area where your magic happened. So you can still say, I forgot the name, but I had a great time at the Sci-Fi Dine-In or whatever. So.
Yeah. Are they still? People can still do cast compliments on social media, right?
You can still do it that way. That's an easy way too. You can do it both ways just to be sure, to back things up, just to make sure that Disney will still be checking that. But this will be a really easy way because it's going to get almost forwarded directly to them through the app. They don't have to go search it out.
That's true. Plus, I like that they have a drop down with the categories and things like that. So
So to access mobile cast compliment, search Cast Compliment in the My Disney Experience mobile app, and you can also conveniently find it in other parts of the app as well, is what they say. So check that out and definitely do it. Always give the cast compliments out when the Disney cast members provide the magic that they almost always do, because they do make the magic.
Yeah, it is surprising every time we go to the park. There is some interaction we have with a cast member that we feel is deserving of a cast compliment.
Yeah, multiple times usually.
Right.
Almost every trip we have, even if it's just for a day, there's at least one, if not multiple times that we are wanting to give out a cast compliment to somebody because they're so great.
Right, and we're so needy.
So needy. You don't even, especially me. So needy. No. That's it for the Disney Stories of the Week. However, we never leave you without giving you some sort of tip that might help you on your next vacation. And when we do this, well, we always start with Michelle. One, because she does the best brackets. She does the best research. She has the best list. She's awesome. All things good in the world. But she definitely has the very best tips. So let's get to it. Here's Michelle's tip of the week.
So funny because this is like really quick because I know this has been a long episode and I've talked a lot, but thank you for the compliment, sweetie. Anyways, so my tip is just if you're planning to be in the park and you do have like a Disney gift card, but you still want to use mobile ordering, the easiest way you can do this is actually to have the gift card ID put on your phone in, like that notes section. And then you can just copy and paste it in when you make your food order. And that way you're not trying to at that time type it all in and everything.
That's a great one. As a matter of fact, it was part of my tip for today.
Oh my gosh.
So,
I was wondering why you looked funny when I was like, oh, what am I saying wrong?
That is such a great tip. And I tried to copy it and she didn't even know it.
Okay, well, what's yours?
Well, I have a second part to that tip too, because another great thing you can do if you don't want to carry your gift cards around, because, you could have several of them or you could forget which ones you've used or whatever. One thing that you can do is take a picture of the back of them, especially the barcode of every single gift card that you have. Take pictures of those and bring those with you instead of having to bring the cards with you in a backpack, in your pocket, whatever else. And then when you go up to check out, the cast member can scan the photo that you have using the barcode.
Right.
And that is a way you can use it. So that can help you to know that, okay, I don't need to carry all these things around. Which one have I used? Which one have I not used?
Sure.
As soon as you used it up, you can delete the photo so you won't have to use it again. So that is another way to use gift cards at the park in kind of an unconventional way.
Right. Love it. Oh, how funny, though, that we both had gift cards.
That's so funny.
That is.
Well, anyways, thank you for joining this week. Next week, we're kicking off a series exploring the creation of Disney magic. Ooh, this should be a lot of fun. Michelle, how are we starting it?
So we're going to start next week with landscaping and how that plays a role in bringing the magic to the Disney parks.
Yeah, especially with Flower and Garden Festival kicking off here soon. That is going to be a big part of it. But just on an every day-to-day basis, the landscape of Disney really is part of what makes it so wonderful.
Right. And we'll kind of look into how it came about and why it makes it wonderful.
Very cool. Can't wait for that. As for today, we appreciate that you joined us today. In the future, you can find us most everywhere you get podcasts. However, the very best place to find us is on our own website, HyperionAdventurespodcast.com. And while you're there,
sign up for the newsletter and get that extra bracket.
Yeah, please sign up for the newsletter. You'll get to enter in that extra bracket and another chance to win. Patreon, again, even another chance to win. So go do all those things. Also, follow us on social media if you're looking for the brackets. I did put them out on social media. We're on Twitter at Hyperion Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. If you are on Facebook, come on over and join us for some good, positive Disney energy fun at the Hyperion Adventurers Facebook group.
Yeah, we enjoy that group so much. So if you're already a member of that, please tell your friends and family to join.
For sure. Also, we're on YouTube. Just do a quick search for us there at Hyperion Adventures Podcast and hit subscribe. You'll know whenever we have a new video. And if you ever want to contact us for any reason, please hit us up at our Gmail account, HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com.
And the other thing that we really like to ask is, talking about friends and family, is please let them know about this show.
Yep. The easiest way for us to spread the word that this show exists and kind of build up the group of Hyperion adventurers.
Yes.
That's it. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Hyperion Adventures Podcast. We look forward to sharing some time with you again next week. Until that time, I'm Tom,
I'm Michelle.
and we hope that you have a magical week.
Bye.